What if I told you that something's sitting in your bag right now? Something you've used 1,000 times without a second thought is quietly getting cruise passengers pulled aside at port security. More than almost anything else, we're not talking about obvious stuff. We're not talking about weapons or contraband. We're talking about completely legal, completely innocent electronics that you've probably packed for your last 3 vacations. And today, we're going to go through all 5 of them because the last one on this list is going to genuinely surprise you. Welcome back to Cruise Revealed, the channel where we help you cruise smarter, stress less, and actually enjoy the vacation you saved up for. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, and because we cover everything from ship reviews to packing secrets to the stuff cruise lines don't exactly advertise. And today's topic falls firmly into that last category. So here's the thing about port embarkation security. It has changed, quietly, gradually, but significantly. The technology that security teams use has become far more sensitive, far more capable of detecting things that older scanners simply missed. And the result is that items which sailed through security without issue just a few years ago are now triggering secondary screening flags with much higher frequency. Passengers are confused, they're frustrated, they miss their boarding windows, and sometimes they end up having items confiscated that they genuinely didn't know were a problem. So let's fix that right now. So, number 1 on our list is portable power banks, and specifically the high-capacity ones. Now, before you click away, hear me out, because this is more nuanced than you think. A basic 10,000 milliamp hour power bank in your carry-on luggage has been standard vacation equipment for years. But here's what's changed. The really large capacity power banks, the ones that can charge your phone 8 or 10 times over, the ones people buy for long sea days, those are now drawing much more scrutiny. At port embarkation points, we're talking about anything above 27,000 milliamp hours, which airline regulations have long flagged. But cruise port security has started aligning more closely. With aviation standards in recent years, the sheer size and density of the lithium cells inside these units looks unusual on X-ray equipment, and that triggers a secondary check. The fix here is simple. Keep your power bank at a moderate capacity. Make sure it's in your carry-on and not your checked luggage. And if a security officer asks to see it, just hand it over calmly. It's not a confiscation situation, just a verification moment. Number 2 is something that a growing number of cruise passengers are bringing on board, and that is the personal Wi-Fi router or travel router. These compact little devices have become incredibly popular among remote workers who cruise, among families who want better cabin connectivity, and among anyone who's frustrated with the spotty Wi-Fi signal that some ships are known for. The problem is that these devices, when they pass through an X-ray scanner, look deeply suspicious to someone who doesn't immediately recognize them. They have antenna components, dense circuit boards, and they look nothing like the familiar silhouette of a laptop or a phone. Port security personnel are trained to flag anything they can't quickly identify, and a travel router absolutely fits that description. Beyond the visual flags, cruise lines are also becoming increasingly aware of these devices, because some guests use them to create onboard networks that can interfere with the ship's own infrastructure. So you've got both a security optics issue and a cruise line policy issue converging on this one little gadget. Check your specific cruise line's policy before you pack one, and if you do bring it, be ready to explain exactly what it is. Number 3 might actually make you laugh a little, because it's something that millions of people use every single morning, without a second thought. We're talking about electric razors, with built-in cleaning stations and charging bases, specifically the larger travel sets that include the dock, the cleaning cartridge, and all the associated accessories packed together in a case. When that entire setup goes through an X-ray machine together, the combination of the motor housing, the fluid cartridge, and the various metal components creates an image that genuinely confuses automated flagging systems. Security personnel see a liquid-adjacent cartridge. They see dense components, and the whole thing gets pulled. For a closer look, this is one of the most common causes of minor delays that people don't talk about online. It's because nobody wants to admit that their razor kit held up the line. The solution is to pack the components separately, the razor in one section of your bag, the cleaning cartridge in your liquids pouch, and the charging dock in another spot. Spread it out, and you eliminate the confusing visual cluster entirely. Number 4 is one that the tech-forward travelers among you are definitely going to recognize, and that is the drone. Now, to be clear, many cruise lines have outright banned drones entirely as a policy matter. So this isn't even purely a security screening question. It's also a prohibited items question, depending on who you're sailing with. But here's why it makes this list. People still try to bring them, sometimes because they genuinely didn't read the policy, and sometimes because they're hoping a compact foldable drone will slip through unnoticed. It does not slip through unnoticed, not anymore. Port security X-ray technology is exceptionally good at identifying the rotor assembly of a drone, and the lithium batteries that power them create an additional flag on top of the physical structure of the device itself. If your cruise line prohibits drones and you try to bring one, you're looking at confiscation at the port with no guarantee of getting it back, even if your cruise line doesn't explicitly ban them, which is increasingly rare. You will almost certainly be stopped for a thorough secondary inspection, that will eat significant time from your embarkation day. Do yourself a favor, leave the drone at home unless you've confirmed in writing that your specific itinerary allows them. And even then, prepare for extra scrutiny. Number 5 is the one I promised would surprise you. Yeah, and I genuinely believe it will. It's a handheld ham radio, or two-way radio. And before you say you'd never bring one of those, let me tell you who does. Families with kids on large ships who want a simple way to stay in contact. Large group travelers who want to coordinate across multiple cabins. Outdoor adventure travelers who carry them as a habit. And people who simply don't want to pay for ship Wi-Fi just to send a text to their spouse who's at the pool. The problem is multi-layered. These devices operate on radio frequencies and on a cruise ship, unauthorized transmission devices that can interact with navigation, always communication, or emergency systems are treated extremely seriously. Port security personnel know this, which is why handheld radios of any kind could trigger an immediate secondary screening. Additionally, many ports of call have their own regulations about radio transmission devices, which means even if you got it onto the ship, using it at certain destinations could create additional complications. Simple walkie-talkies that operate on the standard FRS frequencies are generally a different conversation, but even those basic consumer models are drawing more scrutiny than they used to. If you want to stay connected across a large ship, check if your cruise line has its own messaging app, because almost every major line does now, and it's free once you're on board their Wi-Fi network. So let's do a quick recap before we wrap up. High-capacity power banks, travel routers, electric razor cleaning systems packed together, drones, and handheld radios. Here's the bigger takeaway that I want to leave you with. Port embarkation security has genuinely evolved, and packing strategies that worked perfectly 5 years ago don't always translate to a smooth experience today. The best thing you can do is stay informed. Keep your bag organized so inspectors can quickly identify everything, and build a little extra time buffer into your embarkation day so that if you do get pulled aside, it's an inconvenience rather than a catastrophe. If this video helped you out, make sure to subscribe to Cruise Revealed and share it with someone who's got a cruise coming up, because this is exactly the kind of thing that can save someone's embarkation day. And before you go, watch this next video. 10 passenger habits cabin crew hate, because some of these small mistakes can completely change your experience on board. We'll see you in the next one.